South Florida, number 62, Austin Ryder. At guard from Eastern Michigan, number 77, Andrew Wiley. At tackle from California, number 71, Mitchell Schwartz. At fullback from UConn, number 42, Anthony Sherman. At running back from LSU, number 32, Spencer Ware. At running back from Toledo, number 27, Corey. At wide receiver from West Alabama, number 10, Tyree. At tight end from Cincinnati, number 87, and at quarterback from Texas Tech, number 15, Patrick Mahomes. Let's hear it for your Kansas City Chiefs.
Welcome in, everybody. This is your Chiefs Pregame Show. This is Kingdom Kickoff. I'm Noah Groniger. I'm being joined here by Clint Schweitzer and former Chiefs player, former KCTV5 Chiefs Pregame host, Rich Baldinger. He's going to be joining us all season long. That's 17 games this year. And, of course, for our Chiefs, all the way to Super Bowl 56. It is great to be here. The Chiefs kicked things off against the Cleveland Browns. The last time they did that to open the season was 2002. You remember Dwayne Rudd with the helmet toss. The Chiefs and Dick Vermeil get one untimed down and escape Cleveland with one of the more astonishing and amazing victories that you will ever see. And Dick Vermeil and Dwayne Rudd will be joining us later on in this show. Clint, football's back. The fans are back in the stadium. I want to get your thoughts and feelings heading into a full slate of games in week one.
Well, Noah and Rich, this is so awesome to be here for Kingdom Kickoff. Rich Baldinger, it was such a pleasure growing up watching you do KCTV5 pre-games, and now here you are doing it with us. The circle of life is complete, and I'm going to tell you what, Rich, I'm in one of those freedom-loving Americana football type of moods today because there is no sport that is more uniquely American than football. We've seen it in the first couple weeks of college football. Now we're going to see it in the NFL. The showing of emotion. There has not been a full crowd at Arrowhead Stadium since January of 2020 in the AFC Championship game against the Tennessee Titans, unless you're counting the Garth Brooks concert a few weeks ago. That's another story. This is awesome. We're ready for week one. The NFL kicked off on Thursday night with an astonishing Cowboys-Buccaneers game. Chiefs and Browns, there's nothing more entertaining. The Chiefs guys, to me, Rich, are the most entertaining show in sports today, and it's going to be on full display in front of 76,000 people at Arrowhead Stadium just a day after the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Rich, I'm fired up.
Clint, Noah, good morning. Thank you very much for the opportunity. You know, the one thing you're going to know as a former player, you might not be able to run anymore. You can't lift all the great weights. You're a terrible athlete. But the one thing you know, on Sunday morning, the opening NFL, that light goes on the back of your head, and you are ready to go hit somebody. Now, it might be the coffee cup. It might be the buffet line. But anyway, you're ready to act. But let me tell you something, Noah. I loved your introduction. But what about John Tate, buddy? It took an offensive lineman to open up that season, and now you've got me here. So don't worry about anything, guys. I'm a little fired up. The decibel level right now, I can't wait to hear Arrowhead. I can hear the ground rumbling already.
Well, we are going to be there, my friend. And you mentioned John Tate. You're a former offensive lineman. We all saw what happened in Super Bowl 55. The Chiefs do not want that to happen again. They won't allow it to happen again this offseason, whether by trade or free agency or the draft. They revamp this entire offensive line. Just take us through some of those guys, what you're seeing in that offensive line throughout the preseason, and what your thoughts were as the Chiefs went step by step, replacing each position on that offensive line.
Yeah, Andy Reid, Brett Veach, great job. They stripped this down to the rebar and poured in a new intense concrete. Start over at Orlando Brown at the left tackle. Going to be a little bit of adjustment for him because now he's going to see more of a pocket than he did over in Baltimore. But this guy has got really good feet, moves really well in space. And that's the thing, guys. You got to be able to play in space in the National Football League if you're going to play tackle. And that's what takes guys from tackle and the guard. If you can't get out there one-on-one in your old basketball days, bending the knees and staying in front of guys, you can't do it. But Orlando Brown's definitely going to be that guy. Look in the middle in terms of Creed Humphrey at center. I like him for one reason, because he's in position. And believe me today, when I tell you, Cleveland is going to dial up some blitzes. You are going to see the most creative personnel groupings to try to pressure Patrick. It's going to take a guy in the middle to make sure protection is going the right way, but also having the eyes to see late. I might have to fall off and get somebody I'm not even responsible for. The other side at right tackle, Niang, that's the question mark for me, bud. This is his second year. Last year, opted out. Now he's becoming a starter. Dude, you have no idea about the speed of this game. When those balloons go up in Arrowhead, let me tell you something. These guys are going to come hauling and Clowney on the outside. So it will be a real challenge for him over in terms of picking up stunts, staying on the same level, but pre-reading things before it happens. So five guys coming together. It does not matter. And, in fact, it's really funny if you look at 3 of the 4 teams here in the AFC West with the Raiders starting 4 out of 5 new guys. Out there in San Diego, it's the debacle last year. Even with Herbert having a great year, they have, 4 new guys in the offensive line, a rookie at left tackle. So this is a common theme, big challenge for us tonight. But I know Andy Heck's done a great job as the offensive line coach. I look for good things today.
Well, Noah, I have a question for you. We've seen this formula that the Cleveland Browns are going to try to come in here with. We've seen it work early in seasons. The Chiefs were able to go to New England in 2017 with, for instance, Kareem Hunt at running back and Alex Smith at quarterback. They went in there and they were able to shock the world, really, and go in there and win that game at New England. The Browns are going to come in here and try to do that here in Arrowhead Stadium with a steady dose of Nick Chubb, a steady dose of Kareem Hunt, the former Chief, and nobody uses play action probably to their playmakers better than Baker Mayfield. Is this a formula that we've seen work in the past, especially early in seasons, that the Browns can duplicate and come in here and shot Chiefs Kingdom here today?
Well, that is going to be their formula, and whether Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt can get going, it's kind of remained to be seen. We have revamped a little bit the defensive line with Chris Jones moving to defensive end, signing of Jaron Reed over from Seattle, plug him in there at defensive tackle, and Derek Nottie and Frank Clark. It sounds like they're going to give it a go, although they've been digged up through preseason. We held them out. So that is going to be the question mark. And then those linebackers, can they fill the holes? Willie Gay's injured. He's out. So it's going to be Anthony Hitchens and Ben Neiman. A lot of people, they're mixed feelings, to say it nicely, about Ben Neiman out there, and he's going to be starting. I guess they say Nick Bolton's not ready as a rookie. Ben Neiman's been here. He knows the scheme. He knows where to fill the gaps. And so I kind of throw it to you, Rich. Like, what do you think about this run game? I know we like the defensive line, but what about those linebackers at the second level?
It will be different, but when you've got Reed on the inside, don't forget about Wharton. Okafor is going to be back. I think he's going to get some playing time today, a pass rush guy. But with Chris Jones on the outside, listen, this is a guy that can wreak havoc. You have got to count for him everywhere. And even if he's at that defensive end position, this is going to be a challenge for them, even in play action, because we've seen what Chris Jones can do. Listen, he's either the best or maybe the top two in terms of a guy you can put at defensive tackle, defensive end. So I know that offensive line for Cleveland this year, and Kevin Stefanski, the head coach, he knows he's got to double team this guy. You cannot single block Chris Jones. He will actually destroy your offense. So I want to see what happens with them. And I agree with you guys. They are going to have to run the football. They cannot get into a passing game. They tried to do it last year in the playoffs, and it cost them. Got behind. They got out of a rhythm. They need a running game. When you're the third best rushing attack in the National Football League, pound the rock. Do what you do well. They didn't do it in the playoff game, and it proved costly for them in that game.
Absolutely. And some of the Browns' weapons outside of just Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, they got Austin Hooper at tight end. Well, we all know Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry at receiver. The Chiefs, I mean, they brought in Mike Hughes from Minnesota at corner. We're going to see Treverius Ward again. L'Jarius Sneed looks like his level is just going to keep rising. He's producing. He's developing. So what do we see with this Chiefs defense, kind of the secondary? We got Sorensen out there instead of Juan Thornhill starting. Looks like he's still trying to kind of regain his footing from his rookie season after sustaining that injury. So what do we see in the rest of this Chiefs secondary going up against a talented tight end receiver bunch and, of course, Baker Mayfield at quarterback?
Well, I'm just wondering with the absence of Gay at linebacker, do the Chiefs just decide to play a straight 4-2-5? And do they even go with dime and have Sorensen in there at that linebacker spot? I think he's better down in tight and then having to rotate to maybe a linebacker than dropping him into space. Put him up there in that linebacker position. He can handle those big guys up front. A good run stopper. And also with Odell Beckham back, you would think maybe you might want to go with dime. And now you got the Honey Badger back, maybe just as that robber baron in the back. Excellent at reading quarterback's eyes. It's going to be a challenge. I think the Chiefs are in a pretty good position here in terms of the secondary, what they have, especially with the Honey Badger back playing today, should prove to be good things for the Chiefs secondary.
Well, guys, the Chiefs have not opened a game with the Cleveland Browns since 2002, and we're going to go back in time, take you in our Wayback Machine a little bit here with this interview we did early in the week. We're going to play that for you right now, which included former Chiefs coach Dick Vermeil and former Browns linebacker Dwayne Rudd, the man behind the helmet throw. At the time, it was one of the craziest plays I've ever seen in a game. Dan Deerdorf, who was on the call, I'll never forget him talking about what a gaffe. But in Dwayne Rudd's defense, he thought he had Trent Green in the grasp. He thought he was down. Who would have thought he could get it off to 310-pound John Tate to rumble just into field goal range? It was a crazy play. We all remember it. And guys, we want to go ahead and take you right now to our interview that we did earlier in the week. We're going to relive this moment, Dick Vermeil and Dwayne Rudd. We are previewing Chiefs Browns this weekend. Coach Vermeil, Dwayne Rudd, the last time the Chiefs opened up with the Cleveland Browns, you two faced off in Cleveland.
4 seconds remaining. Browns looking to hold on. 39-37. Green takes the snap. Green steps up. Under some heat. He got rid of it. John Tate is running with the football. Flags come down, and Tate is forced out of bounds at the 25.
Let me tell you something. Dwayne Rudd threw his helmet while the play was going on. That's a defensive penalty. The game can't end on a defensive penalty. Dwayne Rudd threw his helmet.
He thought he had sacked Trent Green, and in celebration, figuring there's no time on the clock, he took off his helmet.
Unsportsmanlike penalty. Number 57, Cleveland, threw his helmet during the play. It's a tack-on penalty, half the distance to the goal. Extended down. One untimed down.
This is unbelievable. The game cannot end on a defensive penalty. Rudd throwing his helmet is going to give the Chiefs an opportunity for a field goal here to win the game. Look at him there on the left side of your screen. He doesn't even know that John Tate is running with the football. The play is still going on.
What a turn of events.
What a gaffe. And now comes down to the oldest player in the NFL, Martin Anderson.
He has been Mr. Reliable. This is his first game as a Kansas City Chief. And this is a 30-yard field goal attempt.
With zeros on the clock. And this is a disbelieving Cleveland Browns stadium crowd.
Gammon will snap it. Straczynski will hold it. Morton Anderson, the oldest player in the NFL. 30 yards away. Anderson. He nails it. Kansas City wins.
And Dwayne Rudd goes down as making one of the biggest mistakes in Cleveland Browns history.
The Chiefs have just pulled off a miracle down the stretch. And they pull it off 40-39 over the Browns. Oh, what a finish.
Coach Vermeil, I want to start with you. Like, kind of what do you remember about that season? Was your second in Kansas City. A lot of optimism going into year two. We'd seen the offense really start to explode at the end. You guys won something like 3 out of your last 5. And then you go to Cleveland for week 1. And what a shootout it would be, Coach.
Oh, yeah. In fact, that was an embarrassing win, and all wins are good ones, but I always feel for the other side. I always feel for the opponent when a game like that happens, because they're trying to build a program there, and then they win the game and then they lose it, on a penalty when he takes his helmet off and I don't think about it very often because I'm not asked about that game as much as I am the miracle of the Meadowlands, in 78, a long time ago. But I actually thought our second year we would end up with a better win-loss record than we did. We went 8-8, but we just couldn't stop anybody. But our offense was really coming into its own, mature, both running and throwing, but we still didn't win enough games to make the playoffs.
Yeah, and Dwayne, you guys did make the playoffs there in Cleveland. In that game, a lot of people forget. They want to talk about the helmet toss. You led the Browns in tackles with 8 tackles that day. What do you remember going into that game against the Chiefs? Kelly Holcomb starting, and you guys' defense going against the high-powered offense.
For me, obviously, Tony Gonzalez. I had a very detailed week studying and everything. I know I had to face Tony. We were really good friends and talked in the offseason some. And that was really on my mind. I ended up having a good game. And that was definitely, I ended up watching the game a few times. But the hardest thing for me about that game, like Coach said, is the way it ended. We like to play clean football. And I got excited at the end. I didn't know what was going on. I thought I had got him down. So therefore, it was a rough week. I had to individually go and apologize to pretty much each teammate I had. I couldn't stand it. But yeah, what a terrible memory. And like he said, I think about it all the time. I don't think I'm not going to say a week. It used to be a week. I'm going to say now, I don't think a month goes by. So maybe to get to a point where I can get to a year goes by, but it hasn't been a month yet that I don't sit there and think about that and how things would have ended up for myself as well as the team.
Yeah.
Wait, let me ask you, as a former lineman, I was going to ask you, wasn't Trent Green in the grasp at that moment? Shouldn't the play have come to an end? Wasn't that a sack on the play? I mean, I'm trying to throw some goodwill towards you there, buddy.
Yeah. I think, I'm not sure if we had a replay. I'm not sure if we had replay then or not. I'm not sure in 2002. Did we have replay?
Yeah, I don't think you could have challenged in the grasp, though.
No, I don't think so neither. So it was the right call, I think. After I've seen it a few times, he was actually able to get it off before his knee touched, I think.
Coach Vermeil, the Chiefs are coming in here after going 14-2, going to the Super Bowl, not winning the Super Bowl for a second straight year. The Browns coming in here. Kind of what do you see from this Chiefs team? How do you think Andy Reid's going to kind of respond to that loss as he tries to get this team back on track and back to a Super Bowl?
Well, I have such confidence in Andy Reid. and the decisions he makes, not only in coaching, but in preparing a team and improving a team in the offseason. And I think he's really improved his offensive line. I look for them to be the team to beat, to get to the Super Bowl, and sometimes the best team doesn't always go, and like I've said many times, it takes the same thing to get to a Super Bowl and lose as it does to get there and win. You got to get there. And right now, I can't pick an obvious team over Kansas City to get to the AFC Championship game and win it. I don't know who it'll be.
Well, Dwayne, talk about those Browns. I mean, a lot of people are talking the hype train for them, and this could be their chance to push through and get to a Super Bowl. I mean, you've got Baker Mayfield coming in. He's wanting to prove himself even further and get that big deal from the Browns. The running game with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and then those two ends, Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett, they're going to test that Chiefs' new offensive line.
I really think so as well. I like the running game at Cleveland. They can shorten the game. Both of those guys stay healthy. My man from Alabama, Willis, blocking. I watched him in the preseason. He looked well. I'm really thinking that they can win the game. I think they're definitely a player in the AFC. I mean, it's the best running game in the business right now. On paper, well, actually last year they did very well. I think both guys get 1,000 yards this year. I'm thinking, but the Chiefs being able to keep up with them and how many points they score, how explosive they are. They got a great tight end. I'm not real sure it's a great game. I'll be glued to the television. I'm rooting for Cleveland like always. But I know I really, if I had to pick a team, I definitely would go with Kansas City, man, to come out of the AFC. If I had to pick somebody, I've seen a couple drives in the preseason. I mean, it's going to be very hard to stop them, man.
Start with you, Coach Vermeil. Chiefs Browns this weekend. Who wins the game? And maybe by how much? The Chiefs get this one done, Coach?
Well, I would pick Cleveland. You don't have to be a football genius. I mean, I'd pick Kansas City. Like, you don't have to be.
Wow, we're cutting that part out.
General opinion. As soon as you mention the quarterback situation in the past, what he's been doing, you've got to go with him. In terms of points, I have no idea, but they're going to score points. But Cleveland has been doing that and gotten there. Like you say, running the ball. Normally, when you run the ball, you win, but many times you don't score a lot of points in winning. Mahomes, there's more apt to score more points and still win,
Dwayne, what about you? Got to hold your feet to the fire. It's prediction time.
I don't know if I've seen a better tight end than that guy, Kelsey, though. I mean, how he gets open, it doesn't matter who's guarding him. He got the wiggle at the top of his routes. I mean, his hands. So, he's one of my favorite players in the NFL. And like I said, I'm a former Brown man, but I just don't see that. I looked at the roster. I don't see anybody that can stop him, man. Their linebackers are not. That's not their specialty. And their safeties are not really big. So I mean, he could be a real problem in moving the chain. So if I had to put my money on it, I might have to go against my team and go with the Chiefs, bro.
Well, you heard it there from Dick Vermeil and Dwayne Rudd. Great to catch up from them. They kind of gave their thoughts on what would happen in this game. They both went with Kansas City. A little shocker there from Dwayne Rudd, also choosing Kansas City. He loves Travis Kelce, what he's seen of them. But, Rich, we're going to go to your keys to success for the Kansas City Chiefs. Yep. So here we go. Here's your keys to success. Take us through these and what you have for the Chiefs to come out with a win.
Who's that guy at the bottom of the picture? Oh, my.
I love the haircut.
Scary. Who is that guy?
It's a good-looking man.
I've got my glasses on now, guys. I can see
there you go.
On here. Yeah, let's just start with the Chiefs. O-line continuity. We talked about Brown, we talked about Niang, but how about Trey Smith, another rookie at right guard? Saw what he can do, can knock some people on the ground. Joe Thuney coming in from New England, a smart player, a good puller. Those guys, it, guys. Let's face fact. Joe Woods, the defensive coordinator for Cleveland, feels he's got the speed this year. Safety, cornerback. So I look for a lot of different creative packages coming at us. Those five guys up front not only got to run the ball, but and I know it's all about protection of Patrick Mahomes. The running backs is the other part of that. Listen, Coach Lewis now was wide receivers, been working with the running backs. Do they get involved with this passing game? That's going to be the big question. I think that they could be a big part of it this year. And again, with Tyreek and Kelsey outside, and also you throw running backs in, great thing. On the other side, listen, without a doubt, this running attack is going to come. I mean, I think Alex Van Pelton, the offensive coordinator, is not going to make the same mistake. Got a good 1-2 combination. Let's see what we can do in stopping that two-headed monster of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt.
Absolutely. And we got to win that turnover battle. The Chiefs got to take care of that and not turn the ball over, which Patrick Mahomes is great at, especially in the month of September. No interceptions. He's undefeated in the month of September, so we got that going for us.
Well, and you talk about turnover. Last year, remember, they had what was it, the interception we had? We turned it into a field goal, which by the end of the game was a difference because it forced Cleveland to have to go for a touchdown. They could have maybe lined up for a field goal when and it changes your play call. And so we got points out of the turnovers. They did not get points out of the turnovers in that game in the playoffs. So it always comes down to that. Marty Schottenheimer showed us the numbers. If there's one thing I believe in what Marty said, it was the turnover battle.
Well, guys, it's prediction time. We heard the predictions from Dick Vermeil, from Dwayne Rudd. Noah, let's start with you. We got to hold your feet to the fire. We're going to get our predictions out there. And before we go, we're also going to get to a couple questions, a couple comments that people have. Actually, this is more like people just propping up Rich Baldinger. So we're going to skip those and we'll get to the questions later.
Well, for my prediction, I'm going to go 35-27 Chiefs. They want to go 20-0. Patrick has been talking about it. It's kind of cycled down through the team. You've heard Tyreek and Travis mention it. It starts week 1. You got to take it one game at a time. You got to win the first one if you want to go 20-0. I think the Chiefs handle business. You've got leadership in Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. I don't think they're going to let this thing get off tracks, especially week 1. So I've got them winning 35-27.
What about you, Rich? Let's hear it.
Yeah, I think that without a doubt, the Chiefs come away with victory on this one. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised with the five guys up front. And again, I don't see Cleveland on that defense. You got Newsome over as a rookie cornerback starting in this game. You know the Chiefs are going to get a mismatch with him and Tyreek. I look for a big game again. I'm going to go with 35-27 on this game. Chiefs come out on top.
Well, you guys seem to be in agreement. And let me tell you a couple numbers here that just jump off at me. Dick Vermeil's 8-0 in his career against the Cleveland Browns, okay? We know Patrick Mahomes is 10-0 in the month of September, right? How about this? The Cleveland Browns haven't won an opening game of their season since 2004. But guess what, guys? Rules were made to be broken, and they were made to be broken by Baker Mayfield and this Cleveland Browns team that's going to come in here, pose some problems. I don't like the idea of trying to block Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett with the uncertainty of Orlando Brown on the left side and Lucas Niang on the right. I think the Cleveland Browns come in here and win it. I'm going to say 40-39, just like it was in 2002, shocking the Chiefs, sending 76,000 people home, including Noah and I, with our heads in our hands. Actually, I just wanted to be a contrarian to you two. You guys were so in tune. I had to say something else. But I've got Browns in this game. I think they shock it. I still think the Chiefs finish higher in the AFC standings and go into the AFC playoffs as a 2 seed. But that's for a story for another day.
How did we let him in the studio?
Well,
we have a spy. We have a spy in the studio with us right now. Hey, all I know, Patrick Mahomes, first 4 years. You want stats? 114 touchdowns and only 24 interceptions, folks. I'm sorry. That's the reason why the Kansas City Chiefs come out on top in this game.
Well, look at this. We got a couple comments. Jim Daniels, this is unreal. So cool, guys. Shout out to Rich. I love that guy's intensity, as do I. Although I think Rich is about to turn that intensity into a beatdown of me if we don't get this thing over with. Here's the question that you always get. What network's the game on? Well, there is this thing called Google to try that. CBS, though. We'll give you that one. We got a prediction here from James Howell, our producer, 35-17 Chiefs. I don't think that's giving the Cleveland offense enough credit. And, here's one for you, Rich, from James. Are all the rookies going to be up to the task on that O-line? I brought that up in my prediction. Big task going against Garrett and Clowney. That's exactly why I picked the Browns to win this game.
Don't forget Malik Jackson and Andre Billings in the center there. Those 2 defensive tackles are going to challenge us, too.
Yeah, Malik Jackson. Remember when he was at Denver and he came in here, he wreaked havoc on us in the middle. But I'm going to tell you what, give credit to Andy Heck. I disagree with guys sometimes the way he does some things, but he gets his 5 guys playing well. And I think the Chiefs understood, listen, we lost two of the best tackles here, one with injury, one with retirement, and maybe injury in terms of Schwartzy over there with his back. We don't know if he's going to come back. Still possibility, but still I think the Chiefs understand what they got up front. Folks, I am telling you, I like the way they come off the ball, running the football. Look for some smash mouth coming at Cleveland quickly. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised. And I'm going to tell you what, it might take one of those big guys rumbling and stumbling down the sideline again there, Clint. So don't put that in the bag just yet with that Cleveland victory, buddy.
Man, I am so ready. We're heading out there right now. Rich, thank you so much for being a part of our Kingdom Kickoff Week 1. Can't wait for next week, as we will be doing it a little later, as the Chiefs will host. Chiefs will go on the road to the Baltimore Ravens next week, and we'll be doing it kind of at a different time. So thank you so much, Rich. This has been tremendous. We're ready to head out there. I'm ready to get the grills fired up, ready to smell the smoke, ready to get in there and see that sea of red. Ready to stand for that national anthem and really remember the tragedy of 9/11 and what it means to us and what our freedoms mean to us, which to me, Rich, I don't know about you, but it means everything to me, and it should mean everything to each and every one of you. We're so ready for this, man.
And one American stands and salutes the flag.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well said.
Thanks, guys. Been unbelievable. Way to